my net profit was $15,683.92. My actual hours are 8 to 5, and I leave for work at 6:45 and don't get home until about 6 p.m. I got out and I didn't really have a whole lot of options, and I was like, well, let me just see what else is out there. I had never done any type of real estate at all, basically starting from scratch. What made me pull the trigger, if you will, was I needed something, and I needed to just make a leap of faith in a program that I saw value in. Final price was 45 cash. Final all-in repair, everything was $23,725. Finally closed it at the original thing of 112 and 4% seller concessions. If you have the guts, if you will, to even think about it, like to jump on a call with Keith, that's the first step. The next step is just to do it. Like, don't second guess it.
Welcome to another REI Automated Client Highlight. Today, I've got my old boss and friend, JD. We were in the Marines together. We were at both duty stations, right? Quantico first. And then he really liked, I had the brilliant idea of going out to Hawaii. So like a year later, he followed. And we had a great time.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was in Hawaii first and then went to Quantico and then back to Hawaii.
Old, as you can tell from his gray hair, he was in a little bit longer than I did. And he actually just retired, right? Last year? Or has it been more than a year?
Yeah, in June.
Cool. So coming up on a year. Congrats, dude. That's super cool. He was in a little bit longer than I was. But we're coming in to talk about a deal that he just recently did. And before I get into that, my attorney recently told me, Keith, you really need to be like super upfront with people and talk about like, hey, JD has put in the work, right? He showed up in his business. He's coachable. He's got the Marine mentality. He applied what we taught him. He got a result. But my disclaimer to you is that real estate investing is hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. The market is hard right now. It takes effort. It takes consistency. And honestly, some people are going to come in, they're going to learn what we teach, and they're going to do exactly what we tell them. And they're not going to see the same result that JD is going to share today. And that's the reality of it. Okay. Markets are different. Deals are different. Your financial situation, your experience, all of these things contribute. All of this plays into the factors, I guess, to what your outcome is going to look like. So when JD is answering my questions and I'm interviewing him today, I just want you to not be like, that's what's going to happen for me. It might not. It might be more. It might be less. It might take you longer to get there. It might be shorter. And what I can tell you is that the education and the systems work, but your results are going to be individual to you and the effort that you put in. Cool. There's my disclaimer. With that being said, JD, thanks for coming on the show today, brother. I'm very excited to chat with you. This is cool. I didn't think 3 years, how many years has it been? My God, it's been 5 years since I've been out of the Marine Corps. 1 year. I never thought 5 years ago you would follow me out of the Marines and get into real estate.
I didn't either, to be honest. I mean, I knew you were doing it while you were in, and I knew that you were successful while doing it while you were in, but I got out and I didn't really have a whole lot of options. And I was like, well, let me just see what else is out there. So I'm glad that I hit you up on Facebook and was like, hey, what you doing nowadays?
That's right. It did start over a Facebook DM. That's cool. Life looks a little bit different for both of us now. You have a cool story too. It's going to inspire people. I'll share this with some of our existing clients as well, but this is also for people who are outside the program thinking about joining. But let's talk about this deal from the very beginning. But let's go over some of the pertinent. Actually, before we get into the deal, of course, I want to talk about you a little bit more. So before you joined REI Automated, where were you in real estate investing? Where were you in your business?
I had never done any type of real estate at all, other than buy my own house. And so basically starting from scratch, I had no knowledge. I didn't know what I've heard of the terms, fix and flip and a wholesale, but I was not familiar with all of the stuff that you teach in innovations and creative financing and all those kind of things. So it was a learning curve for sure.
Yeah. So you didn't, just to be really clear, literally brand new, you did not even have a business.
Not in real estate, no, but I do own a separate business that's completely not real estate whatsoever.
Right. Okay. I'm certain that you had, maybe I shouldn't say I'm certain because we know each other, we have some history, but most people have some doubts about joining REI Automated in the beginning because they don't know me or they don't know the program. They have some fears, of course, and some reasonable hesitations. Did you have any of those? And if so, what made you move forward anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I did have fears, like not understanding how what the factors there are, how they work together. When it comes to finding money outside of going to a bank and getting a loan, or just how to talk to people. I'm not a salesman whatsoever. So like talking to people to get them to let me buy their house from them, that was a completely new concept for me.
Yeah.
So again, stepping outside of that kind of comfort box there was a doubt. If I had that kind of thought process when I was talking to people, if I had that ability to connect to people and have them like, all right, let me give you my whole life story and listen to them and kind of guide them to, hey, this makes sense for you, and it also makes sense for me to buy your house, and you makes a little bit of money off of that. So there was lots of fears in that, just kind of initial, like, I don't know if I could do this or not, right? But I think what made me pull the trigger, if you will, was I needed something. I needed to just make a leap, basically, of a leap of faith, and somebody that I knew, and a program that I saw value in. Because I went on the First Deal Fast Track webinar that you gave,
Mm-hmm.
and I got on there, and the information it seemed valid while I was listening to it, and because I knew you previously, but it helped. But just being able to, okay, I need to do something. This seems like it could be potentially a valuable thing. If I don't, if I'm out after 3 months, and at least I've made an attempt to it, right?
Yeah.
At least I learned something in the process. I was bettering myself in one way, shape, or form, whether it's talking to people, whether it's learning just new information. So just being able to get past that barrier of, uh, am I going to be successful in it or not, was, I think, the biggest push.
Yeah. Cool. That's exciting to hear as well. First Deal Fast Track is meant for people who have never done their first deal, totally brand new. So I'm happy to see you were actually, I think, the third person to ever sign up for that program. That program was very, very new when you started it. Now we've had several people complete it. Um, when you, once you made the decision, you came on board with us. You probably had your onboarding call within a couple of days, your launch call a couple of weeks after that. How quickly did you start to see a difference? Even if it was just, I'm not talking about a monetary difference of money coming in, but when it comes to your mindset, when it comes to your clarity, how soon before you started to see a difference?
Probably 3 weeks to a month, I'd say, is probably when I started seeing a difference. Because like the first 2.5 weeks, I was literally just listening to all the training and listening and trying to absorb as much information as I could.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was actually like talking to people and implementing the teachings that you teach through the program, that like, no, like this, it does work, and it just takes time to get used to it and use the tools that you're given, essentially, to see a difference. And it was probably about a month after starting.
Cool. Yeah, which is great. That's I want to know that because that's how we've designed the system. Is it takes most people about 3 to 4 weeks to finish all of the curriculum. Okay, so for anybody who is new to REI Automated, you don't really know what we are. We focus on 3 pillars. I believe that these are the core pillars. If you take one out, you're going to fail in business, absolutely, positively, guaranteed, unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt. Pillar number one is education. We have all these different courses about marketing and structuring deals and analyzing and underwriting and raising private money, things like this. You have to have the right education. Then we have operating systems, which is actually software components of this is actually how you analyze the deal. This is the CRM that you use. So on, this is the lead generation. Here's how to send a purchase and sales agreement, so on and so forth. So that's our operating system, which is pillar 2. And then pillar 3, which is support. You get me, you get a client success manager, you get office hours 3 days per week. You get back end support, dedicated developer, dedicated executive assistant, community leader, so on and so forth. We have just kind of a pile on mentality of like, you have a lot of resources. That's the majority of what we really put our time and money into, is paying for really good support structures for you. So, JD, question for you: when you were learning about the first deal fast track and you heard about these 3 pillars, which one of them originally piqued your interest and was the tipping point where you said, that's what I want to sign up for? Was it the education? Was it the systems? Was it the support? And why?
Probably the education to begin with, but it was very closely followed by the operating system. Me being I believe in learning, and I believe it's a vital part of being, human. Essentially, you can always grow and always better yourself. And again, just learning something brand new that I've never touched before in my life was exciting, just to get all the training that you gave. And then kind of being a little bit of a nerd and knowing how systems are beneficial to people.
Yeah.
You knew me from the Marines. Like I was big into developing databases and
Yeah.
big into systems to make
Dangerous.
efficiency
Yeah.
over, quality or quantity.
Yeah.
So I think that was a bigger push, or the second biggest push was that, just because I didn't want to have to go and develop my own Excel spreadsheet for a deal analyzer and all this stuff. It was already prepared and ready to go.
Yeah.
And now seeing all of the intricacies that are inside of it, it was a great thing to walk into.
Good. Cool. I'm curious, has that changed for you now that you're several months into the program? You originally were piqued by the education. Has it changed at all?
Absolutely. The support now is by far the biggest pillar that I'm standing on, right? And it's not really because I bring a lot of questions to the office hours. For me personally, I go in there and I learn from all the other investors that are inside of the team. They bring in stuff that I hadn't even thought about, like legal things or how to structure a certain deal or all these kind of things. And they have years of knowledge combined, and just learning from that firsthand from somebody who's doing it actively or has done it recently is more beneficial than just reading or listening to the education, even though that was beneficial to begin with. But now, again, learning from firsthand experience is more a huge pillar for me.
Cool. This is relatively by design. And apparently, I'm spinning my chair underneath my desk, and I think I unhooked my microphone. So the Marine Corps teaches us to always have duplicities or duplicates of stuff. And so I was like, snap. But it says change to your secondary audio. What? There's no light on this thing anymore. So here we are. All right. Marine Corps taught me something.
Yep.
You can tell Master Guns. No, she's kidding. Cool. Yeah. So this is what I hear actually a lot when people are brand new. It's the education. Why? Because that's the first thing that you need. You have to have the education when you're getting started, because without the education, you're dead in the water. You don't even know what to do. You don't even know what you're talking about, right? So education is definitely the thing that I hear most of the time with newer investors. However, the reason why everybody stays around is because of the support. So I'm happy to hear that. All right. Now I've got you coming in through my ears. Had to take a little bit there. Cool. What's the next question that I usually ask here? How do you feel beyond doing a deal now? How do you feel compared to when you were just getting started? What month did you? I remember that it was late last year, but I don't remember.
It was like
which.
middle of August.
Okay, so it was Q3. Sweet. Oh, you were fresh out of the Marines. That's right.
Yep.
You literally had just retired. Cool. So you're fresh out of the Marines. You had gotten your job, your government job, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of well, I'll let you get into it. There were some emotions. There were some feelings. How do you feel now compared to before?
I mean, I definitely feel more at peace with running the business in conjunction with my everyday job because, like you said, I still work really 8 to 5 is my hours, but I'm gone from 6:45 until 6 o'clock. Um,
Let's pause. This goes into my disclaimer at the very beginning. Can you say those numbers again?
my actual hours are 8 to 5,
Yep.
and I leave for work at 6:45 and don't get home until about 6 p.m.
I want everybody who's listening to this to pick up on two things. Number one, JD has a full-time job. It's demanding. It's a government job. That said, in addition to the hours that he's working, he is sacrificing time away from his wife, away from his kids in order to build his business. So the reason why I said, going back to my disclaimer at the very beginning, the house ain't going to flip itself, right? You have to pick up the phone. You have to be the one to analyze the deal. You have to be the one to put in the work. And so if anybody is like telling you, oh, you can be a freaking millionaire in a year, dude, they're just going to get your credit card information. At the end of the day, this is really, it's a business, dude, and every business has a huge learning curve in the beginning. And as JD had mentioned, dude, your rate of learning has been outstanding. Nobody realizes when they're getting into real estate investing all the different components. This may scare some people away who are listening to this on the podcast, and frankly, I don't care because you're going to fail regardless if you have this mentality. But a lot of people, they think that it's going to be easy, and it is. You're getting basically a degree in marketing, a degree in sales, a degree in finance, a degree in contract law, a degree in construction, a degree in capital raising. Like that's all the stuff that JD has learned in less than a year, and there's still other things to learn like hiring and firing and training and managing team members, which is you already know how to do that from your time in the Marines, but it is a little bit different in the corporate world because you don't have the weight on your collar. And creating those SOPs and the team leadership and management and such core values. But there, okay, so I don't want to go too far into this, but people don't really realize that there's so much to learn. And there's a lot of programs out there. And I am allowed to say this because I just bought my 58th course a couple weeks ago. My 58th course. I finished 57 of them. I just started this 58th one. And it's been tremendous. And I don't regret buying any single one of them. A lot of them have been very bad, but I've always gotten at least one good nugget. Here's the thing. There's a lot of courses and content creators out there that don't give you the full picture. And it's really important to be good at all of these things because if you're great at marketing but you're terrible at sales, you're just going to waste your marketing dollars. And let's say that you're great at marketing and you're great at sales, but you don't know how to underwrite deals. Well, then you're going to get into bad deals. You're going to lose money. You're going to be out of the game. Let's say that you're great at all three of them, but you're terrible at raising private money. You can't do any deals. Let's say, so on and so forth. And so I say that all to say there's a lot to learn. And dude, I commend you for learning it so quickly. It's been great.
Again, I think it comes back to the learning mindset, right? I also didn't mention that I'm also in school for my MBA too. So like,
yes,
there's a lot to it, but if you put the work, you put whatever your business gets out of it, whatever you put into it.
Preach, dude. Pile it on. How many kids you got?
2.
So JD, married, 2 children, full-time job, and going to school. If anybody has an excuse, it is him, and he doesn't let that hold him back. Anybody can do this business. Listen, if a bunch of freaking retarded Marines can get out and do this, again, it goes back to the core pillars. You have to have the right education, you have to have the right systems, you have to have the right support. With those things, anybody can do this. Okay, let's talk about this deal. I'm talking too much. You have a good deal under your belt. It's your first one. Let's walk through that step by step. How did you find it? What was the lead source?
So I use PPL and through Motivated Sellers, the website. This one wasn't a traditional, I didn't pay specifically $100 for this specific lead. I got a text message from one of the owners or whoever runs it, basically asking if I wanted 500 or something unsold leads towards the end of the month for, I don't know, this thing was like $300 or $400 or something like that. So it was a good deal. I was like, if I can't find one out of 500,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
done screwed up.
yeah. Um, and I didn't even get like, I don't know, like a quarter of the way through the list until I found this one.
Good.
Um, it had been sitting on, it was a for sale by owner in a really small town in Raymond, Illinois, which is about an hour and some change kind of east of Springfield.
Okay. What's the population? Just for all the naysayers who say, you can't do any deals in rural cities. What's the
Oh crap!
population?
I don't know if I have that number up. It's small, like I think 750 or something like that.
Like 750. Like we're talking
750.
less than 1,000
Yeah,
people in podunk middle of Illinois.
it was listed on Zillow for like 90 something $1,000, and I just looking at the picture, I was like, "There's no way I could pay that much money for it." Basically, before I called him, I did the got the quick ARV. I think I had it around like 120 after repair value. Called them. They had already moved out of that house and into a like an inheritance house they got somewhere else in Illinois, and they were
Okay.
just they just wanted to get rid of it. They were like, we can't pay two mortgages.
Yeah.
We got to get it sold."
How much was on the mortgage?
Wait, no, they didn't have a maybe
They
they
were
just
just
want to
paying taxes and
pay
stuff?
paying taxes. Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
Repairs came in. I estimated them at about 25,000, I think, in repair value or the estimated repairs. There was no arrears. They just wanted to get rid of the house, basically. First contracted it at I think I started at 55,000 was the walk away, and then finally got my inspection done and had some bigger issues that they didn't bring up.
Mm-hmm.
So I called them back and renegotiated it down to 45,000.
Good.
So the final price was 45 cash.
Great work.
Then I went out and started doing the whole checklist process that we have, finding contractors and whatnot. Found actually a contractor who was an investor himself, gave me a great deal on the repairs plus material.
Good.
Final all in repair, everything was $23,725.
Good job, dude. That's impressive. Very first renovation ever, first deal ever. This is another big thing. Tell everybody where you live.
Oh, I'm in Hawaii.
Did you ever go to this house?
Nope, not once.
Do you ever go to the city of this house?
Nope. Closest I've been is Chicago, and that's another like 2 hours north.
Not even close. So here's another belief buster is it's dangerous or it's risky to invest in out of state properties. And I so wholeheartedly disagree. That is fictitious. And truth is found in extremes. So if I were to say, well, what if JD bought this for $1? Is there any risk associated with that? Is there any danger? And the answer to that, of course, is no. So what it comes down to is data, right? We need to make a data-driven decision rather than an emotion-based decision. And at the end of the day, JD is gathering the facts, right? He knows his figures. And how do you estimate those repairs? $25,000.
That was just based off of the conversation that I had with the seller. It was kicks needed an update, needed floors everywhere, paint, a couple drywall fixes. And I used the repair estimator that you have in the CRM. Yeah, so it basically just calculated everything for me.
So that repair estimator quite literally got you within 10%, right? You estimated it high at which I would rather estimate high than estimate low, right? So you estimated at $25,000. You came in at $23,000, $2,000 higher, which that's just a little bit less than 10%. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, really, really well done. And it's really common actually for newer investors to over rehab their first house. They believe that they want to be on HGTV, A&E Flip This House. You're not Joanna Gaines. Do not over rehab houses. So well done, not blowing your budget on the renovation. Super proud of you for that. And again, I told you there's like a whole bunch of degrees that JD got, and one of them is managing the construction, right? Talking to that contractor, making sure that he's going through and he's hitting his line items that are in the scope of work, paying him based off of that payment schedule. And at the end of the day, making sure that the punch list items have been completed before JD strokes the final check. Really well done. Okay, I'm sorry I keep interrupting you. Go ahead and continue.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, so the renovations took, I think it was right at 2 months, maybe a little less. So anyways, I bought the house. The house I closed in to buy it was in November.
Was
Like
this guy
November
flipping
14th.
it by himself? There's just one dude?
He has a small crew that he flips them with. So I think he has a
One
team
or
of
two
three.
other guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, small. It's a real small crew.
So yeah, I closed on it in November, like the middle of November, started work on it right after Thanksgiving. And then renovations were done as of January 3rd, and then went on the market January 6th or 7th, something like that. And again, I just found the realtor through Zillow, and it's like just realtors in the area, clicked a couple of them, asked for if they would give me you know, what they were for a CMA for the house,
Mhm.
basically. They all gave me their stuff, and I chose the one that was the most responsive in getting back to me. Because again,
Good.
I'm in Hawaii, she's in Illinois,
Yeah.
and yeah, we went to town, and we first listed it for 125,000 was the initial list price. It had some traction. I think it had 2 or 3 showings in the first week,
Okay.
but most of them were like,
You went a
yeah,
little bit higher, right? Didn't you say
yeah,
that
then my
you thought that the ARV was actually 120, so you're trying to push a little bit?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that was sorry. And the 125, my dirty ARV was at 120 just based off of what I saw
Got
real
it.
quick. But the 125 I actually thought was pretty spot on for my own comps that I pulled in
Okay.
the area.
Got it.
Because there was the layout was a 3-1. There was another 3-1 that sold like 4 months prior for 125,000, and it was almost identical to what I was
Got it.
putting
Cool.
on the market.
Okay.
And the realtor agreed with me that 125 was a good solid price. So we had a couple showings, no deals came through, not even an offer. Most of them were just kind of looking in the area for something, you know, uh, didn't like what I had, I guess.
Mhm.
That for another week or two after that, asked the realtor, hey, what's going on? Is it losing traction? She was like, yeah, we may could have used a price drop. So we dropped it down to 119.9. And then again, had a couple showings, no hits again. And finally, I was getting not too nervous about it, but I was like, okay, it's kind of losing. I feel like it's losing steam.
Yeah,
It's
it's starting to get a little
less and less
stale.
showings. Yeah, so we made a bigger price reduction to 112,000,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and that still put me over my break even a good substantial amount. And then, like within a week, I had 7 showings,
Nice.
3 offers,
Good.
and we went with the highest offer, which was he wanted 105,000 with like all like 6% seller concessions.
Woo!
And I was like, whoa, okay, hold on. Uh, I'll pay some seller concessions, but you're going to pay full price.
Yeah. Good.
Um,
That's right. That's the right way
so
to do it.
yeah, so we went in. I came back with the counter of full price, and I would drop the seller concessions to 4%.
Okay.
And they agreed to it
Cool.
within like 30 minutes or something like that. Yeah. And then this was the next frustrating part was his income needed to be verified through the state of Illinois.
Mhm.
And it took a long time. So we originally were supposed to close
Wait. Before you tell me that
Yep,
month, what month did you go under contract?
April.
April.
Oh wait, sorry, to sell the house, right?
To sell the house. Yep.
Yeah, April.
April. Okay.
Uh, yeah. And then we were supposed to close the 15th of May.
Mhm.
And then that date came, and there was not, well, I mean, 3 days before we were supposed to close, I had no contact, like
Preliminary.
not no contact. There was nothing like,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to close. There's nothing happening, right?
Yeah.
So I just was like, hey, what's going on, to my realtor, and she was like, yeah, they're waiting on the statement of or the verification of income
Mm.
for the lender. And then the very next day, the lender came back and said, oh, is this a flip property? And I was like, well, obviously it is. I just bought it in November.
Yeah.
So they needed to do a second appraisal
Yep.
to
But
get it
you're way over your
verified.
seasoning, so that was fine.
Yep.
Good. Do you know what kind of loan
And
it
then
was? Was it a FHA or a VA?
it was a FHA, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
Okay.
B.
Has to be a 90-day seasoning for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So finally got the second appraisal done. We finally closed whenever I shot that video. I don't even know what day it is.
It's the 22nd.
Good. Yeah. So we closed on the 14th or 15th.
Okay.
And
May.
yep. Oh, sorry, to go back. Just one more thing I did was when they needed the extension of the close date. I said, okay, that's fine, but I'm going to go down to 3% seller concessions.
Whoa. All right. Hardballing.
Which they agreed to, actually.
Good. Wow.
Through some negotiation with my realtor, because I was like, look, if y'all couldn't get your stuff together with 45 days
Yeah, it's
to
not my
get a
fault. Freaking,
verification.
I'm holding on
Yeah.
to this house, paying for the every single day. Yeah, good for you, dude.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And so they signed that one, or the addendum to that. But then when the second appraiser came back, they actually wanted a couple extra touch-up repairs done to the house. And I was like, Jesus Christ. So, so I was like, look, I can get my contractor out there to fix this stuff by this weekend. That's going to push us past the closing date that we have to give me to close on by.
Mhm.
So I'm willing to go back up to 4% if you can go out there and fix this stuff up for me.
Yeah.
And I'll go back up to the 4%. And they were like, yep, we got it. We'll go out there tomorrow.
Okay.
So they went out, fixed it themselves, and
they threw that ball right back at you.
so finally closed it at the original thing of 112 and 4% seller concessions.
Got it.
After everything, sitting on it for roughly 6 months or so, my net profit was $15,683.92.
Sweet. Good work, dude. One question that you didn't answer as you were telling your story. How did you fund the deal?
Oh, private money. So I started when I landed the deal or the contract originally in November. I immediately was like, okay, I got to find money. And I didn't really necessarily want to do a hard money for, I think I needed only like $85,000 to $90,000 to cover rehab and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And a lot of hard money lenders won't lend in those type of areas for that small amount. What I found out, actually. So I literally just started texting people that I knew from the Marines, from old church people, and it's like, hey, I actually had a couple sit down meetings with a couple people here in Hawaii with just kind of tell them what I'm doing now.
Good.
And then I found one of my old peers from Camp Lejeune while I was there.
Yep.
She was actually really big into investing, not real estate necessarily investing, but just investing in general.
Yeah.
Back then. So I was like, oh, maybe I got a chance. And I, out of the blue, messaged her and I was like, hey, I'm doing this. And she was like, oh, cool. Well, what are your rates? It just literally just sparked up a conversation with, to giving me she initially only wanted to give me 50,000.
Okay.
Because I was just trying to find extra, just say, hey, I'm just trying to find people to lend me some money.
Yeah.
And then after about a week, after I still couldn't find anybody, I was like, hey, I'm having some issues still trying to find people with this extra like $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
Is this 50,000 your max that you lend to me? She was like, you know what? I think you're good for it. I've looked at the property portfolio you gave me. It looks like it's a good deal. I can't. So I'll give you the full $90,000, which is what I ended up asking from her.
So you were 100% funded. You did not have to use your own money at all whatsoever, correct?
Nope. Well, $1 EMD.
$1 EMD. Yeah, buddy, we're starting them off right. I love it. Best part of the show so far. That's great, dude. This is great. Okay, so you've just completed your first deal. It took you 7 months in total. Lots of learning.
Mm-hmm.
What was the biggest challenge? Biggest thing that you learned, biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge for me, it was always, and will probably always be while I'm here, trying to find the time frame when I can get things done with the time difference. Because if I'm investing on the East Coast, that's a 6-hour to 5-hour time difference. So I'm either
a lot of people don't know that. Let's talk about this. So for me right now, it's 3:45 p.m. in Florida, and for JD,
it is 9:45
in the morning. So we're a half a day displaced. I'm closing my day right now. You're my second to last call, and I'm probably just starting your day. So that was super difficult for me when I was stationed there in Kaneohe Bay. So difficult for me. Being active duty with the time difference, dude, it killed. It was so hard. And so I cannot commend you enough. That takes super serious discipline super serious time. I wanted to say time management, but it's not really time management. Really, it's just getting clear on your priorities. It's
Mm-hmm.
not finding the time. It's prioritizing everything that you're doing and putting it on the calendar. So that's a huge learning lesson, just getting clear on what you want. It's
Yeah.
way harder than what people think.
Yeah. And you know, it changed where those little blocks of time where they went in the day, depending on what phase of the project I was in. Like my contractor was best suited to talk to in his evening time
Yep.
because he was at home and he can do whatever. So like for me, that's normal, like my normal lunch hour, right? It's fine. But with my realtor, it was best to get a hold of her like first thing in the morning. So I'm like, I would like wake up sometimes like 1 a.m. to just text her real fast and then go back to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's rough. Cool. And at the end of the day, you said your net profit was what?
$15,683.92.
Sweet. And just so that everybody knows that he's not blowing smoke, we'll put up a screenshot or a HUD or a check or something like that on the show once it's actually done.
Oh, well, I mean, if you put the picture up, it's going to show the check was like 96 because it's the full closing price.
It's the total amount before you paid your lender
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, that's fine. Everybody knows that though. They're going to see the discrepancy, but you'll be able to see JD's beautiful face there. What is your next goal? So you've just done your first deal, took 7 months for your first deal. What's your next goal on the horizon?
So next goal is, again, I'm still trying to find a second deal right now. I'm working a lot more with wholesalers right now via Facebook in specific markets that I feel are higher rental potential.
Good.
Like San Antonio, Indianapolis, those kind of areas that are kind
Mm-hmm.
of hot spots for rental markets. Because honestly, the flipping housing is cool, but I really like passive income and just getting monthly
So do
rent checks
I.
coming in is my goal. And I think I told this to Nate when I first joined. I'm like, that somebody once told me that having 7 different streams of income is the key to wealth building. I don't know how accurate if they learned that from somewhere, if that's just something that they made up, but
Mm-hmm.
I like the number 7 anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And this getting that passive income is just one of those stepping stones for me.
Good. I'm a huge proponent of that. I'm glad that you're making that decision early into your investing career because it took me 8 years before I started acquiring assets and rentals and holding on to stuff. It's my biggest regret in all of life, dude, is not holding on. I just wish that I was greedy. I was young and I was greedy. Frankly, that is the diagnosis here of my stupidity. But if I had just kept like 1 in every 4, my life would look drastically different right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to get the dopamine. I had to see the dollar figure in my checking account just so I could take a screenshot and be like, "Oh, so stupid, dude. So stupid. I wish I had not done that." So I'm proud of you for seeing that early on into your investing career. Holding on to assets is huge. Okay, let's wrap up here. We've got a couple of notes. A lot of people who have maybe had a call with me or they're thinking about having a call with me with REI Automated, maybe they're on the fence. Maybe they are where you were last August. What would you say to those people about REI Automated?
I mean, if you have the guts, if you will, to even think about it, like to jump on a call with Keith, like that's the first step. The next step is just to do it. Like don't second guess it. I promise you, if anything, you gain a wealth of knowledge, right? Like learning from him and learning from the team and the support that's through REI Automated, you will at least have a nugget that maybe you can't act on right now, or maybe it's not the right timing for you, but it will give you the minimally the knowledge to push forward. So yeah, it's been one of the best decisions I've made in my life, and and it's right up there with marrying my wife and joining the Marines.
Wow. What an honor. Wow, I didn't know that I made that list. I didn't pay him to say that, y'all. Thanks, JD, for saying that. My God, that's probably the best compliment I've ever received. That's fantastic. Dude, thank you very much for saying that. Thanks for sharing your journey. It's been fun to
Yeah.
watch you over the last 7 months, dude. This is really cool. You have I'll go back to the first thing that I said at the show, in the middle. Like, you have everything stacked against you. You have a full-time job, you have a wife, you have kids, you're going to school, you have everything, 6 hour time difference, 5 hour, right? Illinois is 5. It doesn't matter. There's a huge time difference between
Yeah.
where you're investing. And nonetheless, you found the time, you learned what you needed to learn, you executed the systems, you raised your hand and asked questions when you needed help. So thank you for sharing your story. I hope that it encourages people who are in your shoes, or very likely uh, they have more time, more availability, less
Yeah.
excuses than you. So I appreciate your encouragement and your inspiration when it comes to that. And it's stories like this, man, that I really hope remind people what's possible when you go out there and take a chance on yourself. You have the right system, you have the right education, you have the right support. Dude, congrats on your success. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank
You're
you.
so deserving of this. Many more. The next deal is going to be way faster than your first one.
Yeah.
First one's always the hardest, dude. So thanks for being here on the show with me today, JD. Super appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.